You are still loved, despite not being the first person on today. Poor Dina. Okay, team, we're gonna start. You can sit down for this. Like, I mean, sit in a chair. Wow, I know. Imagine. Welcome to Yoga for Bones, from fingertips to shoulders, a little bit of upper back work today. Please have handy light weights. And when I mean light, like nothing bigger than, heavier than 2 pounds. And you'll understand why shortly. We are working with overhead range of motion. We need overhead range of motion in order to do activities of daily living. So I thought we'd focus, and I know a lot of people are dealing with issues with overhead range of motion. For those who are watching this on recording, you do need a dowel, stick, or broom handle. Someone asked earlier, how long? That's a great question, actually. So if I hold the dowel here, my arms are nice and wide. I have the ability to raise my arms up overhead, keeping my elbows straight. That's the big thing, right? There's other issues. But if I had limited range of motion, maybe I need a longer dowel, right? Or if I have really good range of motion, I wouldn't need a very long dowel. Right? So figure out, take a moment, figure out what you need. You can have a seat on your chair, a blanket, light weights, and a dish towel. Right? So let's just get centered. I don't need my dowel quite just yet. And so let's just take a moment here with our feet grounded. So feel your heels. Hello, Nancy. Welcome, Nicole, Vicki. Heels directly underneath your knees. So have a look. So as opposed to your feet back here or way over here, let's just do our best to make this 90-degree angle with our knees and 90-degree angles with our hips. Placing your hands on the thighs if that feels good, or you want to give yourself a hug, whatever you want to do. Try to sit up nice and tall. Okay, and then from here, lifting up as if you had a very large encyclopedia on the crown of your head. Chin is slightly tucked in. Let's just do a little posture check by placing the flat palm on the top of your head and lift up on all 4 sides of the neck. And feel how that creates a little bit of integration, a little bit of activation of the abdominals. And then keeping that, return your hand back, gazing downcast or closing your eyes. Let's just take a few breaths, checking in with your body, checking in with your breath. Noticing here that breath. Long, cool, quiet inhales and exhales through the nose is ideal for transmitting or transferring information to your body that it is safe, right? And if you're dealing with any pain issues, you could be a little anxious right now about this class. See if slowing that breath down changes the information that you send your body. And please understand that we are all coming to this class today from a different place, physically, emotionally, mentally, geographically. Do your best not to be discouraged with your body's abilities or lack thereof, because it changes, it's fluid. And although we want to do our best to achieve some fancy posture today, it's going to be downward facing dog. It may not be the day for that fully for you, and that's okay. Hopefully you can find something that works for you in a pain-free range of motion. Take one more full collective breath. Inhale through the nose. And then as you exhale, softly open your eyes, welcoming yourself to your practice. Take your fingertips to touch, T. Good. And I'm going to get a little bit closer for this because I know I'm quite far away for this visual. So simply take your fingertips together, and like you have a big beach ball in between or a small beach ball, you're just going to start pressing and releasing and pressing into all your fingertips and releasing, but keep the dome shape so we're not flattening the hand. So we're just pressing, relax the shoulders, drop your elbows. That's it, Jenny. Good. Same with you, Judy. Just drop your elbows. If we're up here, we tend to get into the neck and shoulders. I don't know what's happening with the Apple products these days, but right now, Judy's computer thinks she's doing this, making a heart. So she keeps sending me love, but keep at it, Judy. I love it. So press and release. And funny enough, so keep doing this for about 10 to 12 times. So actively press all 10 fingers or sets of 5 fingers into one another. Just love it. And release. Oh, the love is coming to me. So apparently you can also do this and you'll get fireworks too. So you'll have to give that a try later. I remember this from a young girl. Do y'all remember? I must. Yeah. It was something like that. Good. And one more time. Fingertip press. Good. And then from here, just hug your body with your upper arm bones so your arms are at this 90-degree angle. Palms up to the sky. Close your fingers or wrap your thumb on top and just begin to extend and flex your wrist. So from this angle, you can see I'm flexing my wrists and I'm extending the wrists. And all the while my forearm stays facing upwards. Squeeze the shoulder blades slightly back so the breastbone stays nice and open. And we're always thinking about our posture here, so lifting up into that hook. So it's multiple components all happening simultaneously. Good. And now left to right, left to right. So if you opened your fingers, you're kind of serving, so weird and very awkward range of motion, but keep hugging your body. Don't look, Dina. It'll start getting confusing. Good. Now close your fingers, wrap your thumb, and let's make some wrist circles as big as you can. You're going to probably have to stand for the next exercise because your legs will get in the way. But for now, collarbones wide, shoulder blades gently squeezing back, and change directions. Good. Nice full breath. Told you it'll start off easy. 3, 2, 1. Good. Take one hand out in front of you. Let's do this one first and then we'll come to stand. So spread all 5 fingers. Take your hand and place it on your palm and gently draw the back of your hand towards your forearm, but keep your elbow as straight as you can. Super gentle. We're not being aggressive at all, especially being passive here. This would be like stretching. Yeah? Passive stretching. And this is where people tend to get in trouble because if you're hypermobile, you can move your hand to an incredible range of motion. But without using your muscles, we can pull extremely. So same thing here, very gentle, gently pressing back. So for those of you who are dealing with elbow and shoulder issues, I hope the people you are working with one-on-one are not just looking at the site of the issue, right? Site of the pain, because it's all connected. Yeah. Shake that hand out. And then one more thing I want you to do is I want you to massage the space. So the same hand, the space between your thumb and index finger. So here you can get really into it. I want you to press. And for here, this hand is not so bad. The other hand, very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. So just stretching from the insertion point all the way to the end. Like you're trying to stretch the skin here. Good. So I do that while I'm watching TV. In fact, let's go to the other side now. So again, from here, gentle extension. So we extend the wrist. And again, take your hand to your palm as opposed to your fingers. And you'll feel that stretch all the way underneath the arm a little bit. Good. Nice full inhales and exhales. Judy's dog is like, what do you want me to do, Mommy? He feels like instructions are coming his way. Fingers to the ground, gentle reaching through the wrist crease. Good. And let's do the same thing here. So massage the space in between your thumb and index finger. Just stretch it here. tension is a problem, right? So if you have tension in your hands, it can move all the way up your arm, into your shoulder, into your upper back. Good, and I encourage you on your own, maybe when you're watching TV, to do these kinds of manual manipulation. You can just run your thumb, right? Maybe do some wrist figure eights. Do that with me now. One last thing here, and then we'll stand. So quick figure eights. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. We can stand. I'm going to pick up my chair, step to turn. And then from here, same thing. You're going to bring your elbows into your rib cage. Good. Yep. And let's go. So circling the elbows. You can have fun with it. Double Dutch. Change the directions. We never isolate movements from our elbows. Very rarely. Have a little fun. 5, 4, 3, 2, nice Susan, and 1. Shake it out. Using the back of your chair, counter or on a wall. This is where you want to be careful. You want to start to pay attention to what's happening in the shoulder. So this is a really low chair. I'm hoping you have slightly higher back. The lower the chair is, the more challenging it will be. I'm going to walk back and come into as far extension of the shoulder as I can get. So extend the arms up overhead essentially, but make sure those knees are adequately bent, that you can focus on lengthening your tailbone away from the crown of your head. And if that doesn't work for you, try coming in and out of it. Not necessarily bouncing per se, but be in control. So I lift my head up, my shoulders come up, and then my shoulders lower back down. Ideally, we're trying to get wrist, elbow, shoulder on the same plane for a down dog. So come up and go back into it. That's it, Nicole. So right now, your hands are relatively narrow, so this will be a little bit more challenging, and that's why if you have a wall surface nearby, you can widen the hands. Susan, I want you to do that. So make sure your hands are really wide for me today, okay? So you can use the back of your sofa, that's fine. But if you're having any impingement or any shoulder issues, then I really encourage you to keep your arms wide. Good. Unlock your knees. Reach your tailbone back. It's like you're pumping, but not aggressively, yeah? Good, and then come on up to the wall. Fingertips at the wall. We're gonna do these same fingertip presses, but you're gonna kind of do that floating action, right? Do you remember, team, we've done this many a time. So I'm on the moon, I'm landing on all 10 fingertips, and then I'm gently pressing away. You do not have to be far away from the wall. You can walk your feet closer, but you're landing on your fingertips. So from fingertips to shoulders. So what happens is this work, yes, we're working our fingertips, but you're helping to strengthen your hands is what we're trying to do. For 3, gentle, gentle, Nicole, 2, and 1, good. Now from here, turn your fingertips, you're still at the wall, turn your fingertips out to 9 and 3, widen your hands outside of the shoulders, and you're gonna begin to palm flat to shift your shoulder left to right. Now here, I have to be careful of my artwork here. I wanna keep my feet on the ground and just shift from shoulder to shoulder. Just shift from shoulder to shoulder. See how that feels? Keeping your elbows relatively straight. Yeah. Walking your feet back enough that you can keep your palms flat. And now come up onto your fingertips. Come up onto your fingertips. That's it. So fingertips, same thing. Shoulders side to side. Shoulders side to side. Good. Just creating exposure is literally what you're doing right now. Perfect. Come off of the wall, shake out your hands, shake out your wrists. We'll go for 5, gentle, gentle, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Back at the wall, I'm going to show from different angles. From this angle, I'm just going to walk on the wall. Yeah, I can walk in all different directions, but trying to keep a little weight on my hands, which means my feet are going to walk. Maybe walking left to right. Just watch for a second. I'm kind of climbing the wall left to right. I'm climbing the wall up. I'm climbing the wall down. All the while you're focusing on the length in the spine, the overhead range of motion a little bit more. Elbows stay straight. Try to go left to right. So climb the wall to the left. Yes. Climb the wall to the right. Dan is cleaning at the same time. You never think of cleaning doors, do we, team? That's it. Dina, nice job. Nice job, Nicole. Yeah. Good. A little bit more. Have a little fun with it. It's like you're landing on the wall. This is a great precursor to crawling work, team, which is a pretty strong functional movement. If you have a look at children, it's not so easy. Good. Dana. Okay, so here is where we start the overhead movement. So if I was someone who had poor overhead range of motion, I would, so my shoulder is facing the wall, I would walk out a good distance away from the wall. How much that distance is, it will depend. I want you to watch first. So I'm going to take my pinky finger to the wall. Watch first, please. And I'm going to take my arm up and over. So I'm literally drawing circles with my fingertips, keeping my shoulders facing straight ahead. For me, this arm, relatively easy. This elbow doesn't exist anymore. 100% straight. We need to focus on range of motion here. So the farther you move away from the wall, the more accessible your arm circles will be. So start with a good distance, whatever arm you pick, I don't care, but fingertips are grazing the wall maybe at first. Maybe you're not even using the wall at this point. You're just kind of going, what's going on, right? Good. And then you're like, okay, that seemed easy. I'm going to step an inch closer to the wall, maybe half an inch. Don't kid yourself, that half an inch is going to be a big difference for your shoulder. So up and around. So you can go a few times up, back, and around, and a few times forward. Some of us may not even be moving closer to the wall today. Some of us may not be using the wall today, okay? Or even taking our arms overhead. So a couple of times forward, a couple of times back. Is there opportunity for you to get closer? I don't know. Good. We're just checking out that range of motion because for downward facing dog, we need overhead range of motion, don't we, team? Yes. Even for an extended child pose. Now I'm starting to get uncomfortable, not painful, but I'm like, I gotta really work to keep my body facing forward and not bend my elbow. Good. Perfect. Come away from the wall, starting to warm up a little bit here, yeah? I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna start just grazing my fingertips against the wall, keeping everything else still. So maybe a little bracing through the abdominals, nice full breaths. Couple times in one direction. Jenny's holding her superhuman posture on the other arm. That's hand on hip attitude. I love it. Good. Candace, can I ask you to lift your chin a little bit? Imagine you still have that encyclopedia on the top of your head. Yeah. And then once you have completed your circles with your feet this distance away, maybe you can move a smidge closer. It's a scientific term that I'm coining. A scientific smidge. Good. Remember that breath, team? Try to keep your body really straight, Jojo. Do you see how you're moving your chest open towards the wall a bit? Try not to do that. So maybe you move further away from the wall by a bit. Yeah. So no shoulder action. I'll give you an opportunity to get a little closer for those who have that range of motion. And then we're making our way down to the floor. So if you're not going to the floor, you're going to kneel on a sofa bed or on your bed. Please ensure that you have some appropriate support for your joints as required by you. Before you get down there, just having a look on my class plans. No, you're not going to need anything other than your dish towel and perhaps a blanket for your knees. So the dish towel that we're going to use for our back, you can have that with you. Transition to your knees by a lunge, stepping one foot in front of the other, lowering your knee, and then supporting yourself as you see fit. I'll give you a moment to get there. Incredible range of motion, Giselle. I love it. So, and for those of you who are dealing with knee inflammation, there were many months where this was not even achievable. Inflammation will restrict that range of motion, yeah? So if you're not here, that is completely fine. 4-point kneeling position, supporting your wrist creases, elevating them. For those of you who don't have a 90-degree range of motion, you can elevate the crease of your wrist. Lengthen, I want you to push into the floor. So you're active through your upper back and you're active through your abdominals here. And then same thing, we kind of did this on a side, the side body here. You're going to reach one arm out in front, leading with the thumb. So your pinky finger is touching the floor. And you're going to take your arm up, back, and around. Tap the floor just outside of your knee and reverse it. So back, leading with my pinky, I spin my arm bone in the socket to reach it forward, yeah? So you're gonna have to use that rotation in your arm 3 or 4 times on the one side in a pain-free range of motion. Let's see what it looks like, Nicole, go. Yeah. Don't open the chest, so the chest continues to face the floor. Lengthen the back of the neck, Giselle, for me. Good job, Janet. Yeah. This is humbling. And then change sides. So push that hand into the ground now actively. Yes, Dina, good. Get angry at the floor. Yeah, tell the floor who's boss. Up, back, and around. If we don't use it, we lose it. And then one day we have to actively or quickly reach for something, and that's when we end up hurting ourselves. So we want to keep that area limber and active, ready for life. Good. Try not to open that chest, Nicole. Keep it facing the floor. You're doing great. I lost Judy. She's gone. All right. Good. From here, you can move this out of the way if you wish. And this is where I encourage you to play with the width of your arms. Generally speaking, in a classical Adho Mukha Svanasana or downward facing dog, hands are shoulder width apart. I know someone deemed that the particulars about downward facing dog, but I think there should be variables, right? So I think if you were limited in range of motion, you're going to watch what I'm going to suggest shortly. But from here, I'm going to start with my hands shoulder width apart because I know I can do that. But if you wish, you can widen your arms slightly outside of the shoulder, and you're going to come back into an extended child's pose and then revert back to quadruped. So knees can be outside of the hips. They can be underneath the hips. You're just going to do this nice rocking action. Just starting to, again, understand what your range of motion is, what your limitations might be today. So figure that out. And if that, in fact, isn't even working for you, I want you to, and I'm going to grab a traditional yoga mat. Grab your mat, come see. So you can see my fingertips would be underneath the mat, and my thumbs are here. So this is a nice introduction to downward facing dog. So it's almost like I'm trying to rip my mat apart. Do you see that, Monica? Yeah. And then what I like about this variation, well, you're not going to slip. That's one thing. Tuck in the shirt. Good. And then from here, I can actively pull the mat away from my head and come back. This is going to start waking up some other muscles. So why doesn't everybody try this variation? So grabbing the mat, thumb on top, 4 fingers underneath, a very active movement. For those of you who are dealing with and or are in physical therapy right now, please note this overhead range of motion needs to be, in fact, for everybody, pain-free. Okay? If you prefer, you can just come to sit and just work with your high V position. Okay? Yes. So it's dynamic. But remember what I asked earlier, team, about your elbows, right? I want you to do your best to lock them out here for me so that we can get a pure estimate of what your shoulders and upper back are capable of. There we go. Judy's back without a dog. Putting the puppy in the corner. Good. And then if you're comfortable here, you've explored your range of motion, then just sit back in an extended child's pose. So we know child's pose in the traditional position may have the arms behind you, but when you're dealing with low bone density and we're trying our best to keep our spine lengthened, the safest way to do that is keep the arms overhead or slightly wider, but still overhead. And just take a couple of breaths here, trying to breathe into your back rib cage. Now, what are you doing with your arms, team, to keep them active? What can you do with your arms to keep them active? My suggestion to you is one of 2 things. Palms open, pressing down and away from you, and or thumbs on top, 4 fingers on the bottom, grabbing the mat and pulling it away from you, like you're trying to stretch your mat long. So we want to incorporate strong upper body here. It's not that passive, in fact. Good. And then come on up. Transitioning onto our back will look something like this. We're going to grab our, it's an origami class. So I folded mine in half just to get a little bit thicker on my dish towel. And then I'm going to roll it like a sausage. Roll, 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 roll. And then place it down. So from this angle, when I lie down, it's going to be underneath my armpits, right? Where my armpit, yeah, just underneath my armpits. That's easy enough to say. Shoulder bottom tip of the shoulder blades. For those of you who need support for your head when you're supine, lying down, you can grab that too. And so this should just provide some information. So from a sideline position, if you want to look how to get into this, I'm going to lie on my side, arm overhead, position your your roll underneath you, and then lie on top of it. We're going to all play the princess and the pea, except this is it's a pretty intense pea, wouldn't you say? And this is why I suggested not using a super thick blanket for this, because this is going to be challenging. Take your arms out into like a W-esque position. And then once you're there, just close your eyes. So your arms can be out wide, Nicole, just kind of like that. Yeah. Let your body get heavy on the ground. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. Dina, it's too far down. So more where your armpit, yeah? Yes, good. It's got to feel slightly invasive. So what I see here is a lot of people's back arched away from the floor. So think about where your bottom-most rib cage is on the ground. Can you find it? Yeah, I want that on the ground. So as you exhale, try to soften your bottom-most rib cage, left and right side, towards the ground, irregardless of what's under there trying to lift you up. And you're going to do that with awareness, with breath, and maybe even thinking about, is the roll too thick? So soften through bottom rib cage. We're just starting to think about how the shoulders and the upper back might be connected in your downward facing dog. Try to find that long, cool, quiet inhale and exhale through the nose. There's nothing to do here, just settle. Settle like Judy's puppy. Nice, Dana. Bottom rib cage settles. We'll take 2 more breaths here, enjoying this unusual pace for yoga, for balance and bones. And then when you're ready, if your eyes were closed, please open them. Turn to your side, remove said roll, and come back onto your back. I like slow classes. This is definitely not the usual for us, team. So from here, same things apply. I want your bottom rib cage to be your #1 priority. Pelvis is relaxed, glutes are relaxed. Reach your arms, fingertips to the ceiling. Elbows stay locked. Now you're going to lead with your thumb. So why don't you just curl your fingers in towards your palm so that your thumbs are like hitchhiking right now. Press the base of your skull down into the mat, and then take a big breath in through your nose. As you exhale, begin reaching one arm behind you without lifting your bottom rib cage, without bending your elbow, and see if you can get your arm alongside your ear or not. And then come up. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So thumb, thumb, thumb leads. Hands are shoulder width apart to start. Yeah. Bottom rib cage, elbow, elbow, elbow. Don't make me call you out. Good. Now, for those of you who are like, ain't anywhere close to the ground, and ain't nowhere close to my ears, that is a-okay. You, my friend, are going to now, instead of having your hands shoulder width apart, only those who were nowhere near their ear when they raise their arm. Remember, the ribs stay down, the elbows stay locked. For those of us who are having difficulty today, you're going to widen your arms. So they're no longer shoulder width apart. They're kind of like making the letter V. Yes? And then you're gonna commence once again. Thumb back and down, elbow locked, rib cage heavy, shoulder, shoulder, shoulder. Nice, Jojo. Good, Giselle. I mean, it's all good. It is what it is, right? This is where you explore where you're taking from to get to your destination. Ribs, 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 core, 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 slow, 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 my friend Nicole. Never did make you that t-shirt that says slow down, Nicole. Good. Rest your arms. You can just do whatever you want to rest them. Good. Except we can't do downward facing dog with one arm. That would be, I mean, maybe you can. I can't. We have to do it with both arms. So we're going to go back. For those who were able to do shoulder width, stay shoulder width. For those who were not able to today, they're wider, right? So your arms are outside of shoulder. You see how my wrists are not lined up? Now they're lined up. On your back. And now we are going to do the double work. Thumbs lead. Reach, reach, reach. Elbows lock. Ribs heavy. Tension out through the core. Somehow this just got much more challenging, right? Reach, reach, reach. Stretch, stretch, stretch the arm bones in the socket. They're going to have to stretch, right? You're reaching. Okay? But you have, the goal is to strengthen the surrounding tissue in a lot of the work that we do so that you have the support to do it. So even though you're reaching and stretching, now for those of you who are going, uh-oh, things have changed. I'm bending my elbows. I can't get as deep. What are we going to do? Show me. Widen the arms. Widen the wrists, wider than the shoulder, right? That should provide you with a little bit more room to extend the arm. Good. All right. So we know what's going on. We know that if we don't have the range of motion, we're going to lift our back ribs off of the ground. We're going to bend our elbows, right? To get the arm where we want it to in down dog. And spinal extension is not horrible if you have osteoporosis. Of course, you know, spinal extension is generally fine. But if you want to do this on the premise that we're using the correct joints and the correct muscles, then we want to try and keep the spine neutral in down dog. So from here, I want you to come up and you're now going to get your dowel. This is where we're going to practice with our dowel. If you want a sip of water, please grab one. You're going to have the chair back to the left or right of you as opposed to behind you. I think that's probably your easiest. And you're going to grab your weight. So remember, 1 to 2 pounds. Oh my gosh, the time is flying by. How many times can I teach down dog? Every week I could teach down dog and we would focus on a different body part, right? So from here, we're gonna have our weight and look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna rest my trunk on this, right? If you cannot reach, because you know, everybody's got a different length of femur, then you're gonna double up your mat, you're gonna double up your blanket, get the support, whatever it is that you need. I'm just lying literally, Dana, on it. It's not super comfortable. But we are essentially prone, like we're lying on our belly. And you're gonna have your bottle of water, 1 or 2 pounds, can of soup, lobster bisque, whatever you're eating today for lunch. And then grab one of the weights in one hand. And from here, roughly about 6 to 8 times. You're gonna see if you can lift. Now, from this angle, I am not lifting my arm like this, okay? I want it in a Y position, okay? The reason I want it in a wide position is because if I try with a weight to do it shoulder width, I'm gonna end up using my upper traps. And then tomorrow you're gonna wake up and your shoulder's gonna hurt. You're gonna say, damn that Diana in her yoga class. So you're gonna lift on a high, wide position. Everybody got that? One arm at a time, 6 to 8 repetitions. We're gonna go like this. Lift to shoulder height or slightly below and lower. And lift and lower. And I'll show from different angles for my friends here. Lift and lower. So again, the upper trap, the neck muscles, quiet. We're getting the shoulder, right? And the shoulder blade and all the attachment muscles working. 6 to 8 on one side, switch arms, 6 to 8 on the other. It's awkward, I know. Try to lead with your thumb, team. So go up with your thumb facing the sky. So you get a slight external rotation of the arm in the socket instead of an internal rotation. It feels weird. And if that doesn't work for you, Candace, just go 4-point quadruped. Yep. All fours is fine. Yeah, if you don't have a proper chair, it's going to be weird, right? But the chair is meant to stabilize you so that you have feedback, right? Spine stays neutral. Good, and when you're done one side, you go to the other side. Watch that external rotation, Jenny. So try to get your thumb to face the sky and your pinky finger to face your mat. Keeping your upper traps relaxed. Nice job, team. Awkward, huh? Oh, it gets worse. Novelty, uniqueness, exposure. When you are done, watch the next movement. I will show from this angle. 6 to 8, no more than that, please. I'm gonna hold my dowel in my palms. My palms are gonna face my body. So up close. I don't want your wrists like this. I want your wrists and your palms outside of your elbows. Do you see that? Yeah. So Candace, if you don't have a dowel, yeah, pull the strap. If you have a dowel, you're just holding, making a fist, okay? And now, with your hands in that position, we're gonna come back to belly resting on awkward chair position. Maybe even, you know what, let's change that up. Let's go to elbows. I think that will be easier. Elbows are gonna rest on the chair. I'm gonna walk my knees back, maybe your forehead rests, and I'm just gonna bend and straighten. And bend my elbows as far as I can and come back to roughly 90 degrees. So try to get the dowel towards the upper back. Without any pain is the key to this exercise. So let's see what this looks like. Good. Really grip the dowel. Really grip the dowel. So Judy, please make sure your hands, it's hard to tell from this angle, but make sure your hands are wider than your shoulders, are wider than your wrists. Go ahead, Jenny, let me watch. Elbows on the chair. Elbows on the chair, Giselle. So rest both elbows on the chair. Turn your palms the other way, Giselle, to face your head. Yes. And now widen your hands, Giselle. Good. Nice. And for those of you who are just using a something other than a dowel, maybe see if you can lift your elbows a little bit higher. Oh, I know. There's a stretch. Deltoids. It's hard, eh, Dana? Yeah, especially if your chair is super hard. A couple of times and you're done. And now you get to stand and move your chair off to the side. We're almost ready for a little quick flow to put it all together. But first, we take our dowel standing. Take your hands just outside of your hips, palms facing back, knuckles facing forward. Good. And then elevate the dowel overhead as much as you can. You need to widen your hands apart. Widen your hands apart. We're going into shoulder shrugs. So Janet, what do we do with our elbows? We lock them out. We're going to reach the dowel higher towards the ceiling. I'm going to do this kneeling up close. So the closer I get, the easier it is for you to see. So I'm standing, arms are as much overhead as I can. You can widen your arms as much as you need to. You're going to elevate the dowel by shrugging your shoulders and drop. Watch my shoulders. Shoulders elevate, shoulders depress. Elbows stay straight. Yes, and down. Now, as you exhale, tighten your tummy muscles towards your spine. Elevate and inhale, relax your tummy muscles, drop your shoulders. So exhale, punch the ceiling. Don't bend your elbows, Judy. Keep your elbows straight. And the focus is the shoulders, elevating and depressing. Bless you, Dana. Up and down. Shoulder shrugs. Up. These make me sweat. And down. Last time, up. Woo. And down. Nice job. Throw the dowel away. Come to the top of your mat. Have your chair facing you, team. We're going to use the chair. For those of you who aren't going to get to the ground, that's completely fine. Oh, these leggings. Oh, they're pulling up. And you're going to face your chair. We will be making our way down to the ground eventually. So whatever support you need, covering you need to stay warm, to support the body, have it down there to the side of the chair. And then turn to face the seat. Turn your palms outwards to face the front of your mat. Good. Lift up through the front of your head. I need to move or I'm going to hit a wall. All four legs on your chair. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms, widen up. If you need to take them slightly forward, that's fine. As you exhale, take them down by your side. Good. Again, unlock your knees as you do this. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, arms down. Linking the movement and the breath. Again, inhale, sweep. Exhale down. This time we're going to come into our forward fold. Inhale, sweep those arms wide enough. As you exhale, forward fold, take your hands to the seat of the chair. Press into the seat of the chair. Inhale, head up, look up, straighten the legs. Exhale, soften the knees and fold into yourself. Try not to round the spine. Press into the ground. Inhale, reach the arms wide enough. Exhale, arms come down by our side. Let's do that 2 more times, team. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to the seats of your chairs, please. Straighten the elbows, straighten the legs. Inhale, head up, look up. Beautiful. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, soften your joints and back. Push into the ground. Inhale, reach those arms wide enough. Exhale, arms come down by your side. Gorgeous, everybody. One more time. Inhale, circle, sweep. These arms wide enough. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to bow. Good. Stay folded. Take one leg back. Lower the knee. Take the other leg back. Lower that knee. Push your chair away and come into an extended child's pose. So remember, arms can be outside of the shoulders. Shift your hips back. Inhale, come forward, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, push the hips back. 2 more times here, team. Inhale, lengthen, come forward. So we're rocking forward and back. We've been here before. Exhale, lengthen your tailbone away. Last time, inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Option now in your extended child's pose is to curl those toes under, lift the hips up, and push the weight of your body in towards your legs. So remember, you're pushing the mat away from you. So your hands could be gripping the outer edges of the mat. If not, you're pressing your hands down and away, unlocking your knees. I want to see your dog. Good. Giselle, your dog looks really long. Maybe walk your feet an inch towards your hands. Unlock your knees and push your hips up and back. Yes, good. Janet, yours looks too short. So walk your hands forward even more. Unlock your knees. Push your hips back, keeping your knees unlocked. Good, team. Breathe here. Everybody else looks good. So a little spinal flexion in you, Judy. So can you unlock your knees a little bit more? Unlock your knees. Yes. And push your hips up and back. Press into the ground. There we go. Nice. Take 2 or 3 breaths. When you need to come down, you come down into your extended child's pose. Yeah. If you haven't gotten there yet, everybody down. And we're going to come back up one more time. Remember, I love the option of gripping the outer edges of your mat and ripping it away. So if you haven't tried that variation yet, even if you have the range of motion to keep your arms shoulder width, I want you to try the hands outside of the shoulders, holding onto your mat. Remember, fingers underneath, thumb on top. And when you're ready, curl your toes under, lift the hips up and back. So the more you unlock your knees, the more you're going to be able to get space in your spine, in your waistline. Good. Sits bones are reaching up and back. Gorgeous, Dana. Nice, Jenny. Strong upper body, strong upper back. So feel the roll in your upper back like when you were lying on it earlier on. Feeling like the upper back is cutting in towards the chest. For 3. Oh, Nicole, what a beautiful fireplace. For 2. And 1, and lower back down. For those with high blood pressure, please don't come up quickly. You can stay in your child's pose for a few breaths. So if you come up like this, whoo, you're going to see stops. Nice job, team. Exploring the range of motion in your upper back and your shoulders, using the strength of your hands and your arms in your downward facing dog. Take 1 more breath here. And then when you're ready, we're all transitioning onto our back. Please find some support, either underneath your knees, underneath your head. You're welcome to rest your feet on the seat of your chair, rather, your calves on the seat of your chair. Or for those of you who prefer an upright posture, please feel free to have a seat for your final few moments. Wherever you are, allow your body to feel supported. And you're welcome to straighten your legs, but I do encourage support underneath your knees if that's the case. Let your eyes soften in your skull. Let your tongue rest back in your throat. Relax the jaw. Soften your ears, throat, chest, and shoulders. Feeling the rise and fall of your belly. The softening of the muscles of the low back and pelvis. The large muscles of your upper legs work so hard for you in our class. So hard for you all day long. So feel as if the muscle can soften away from the bone. Calves, feet and toes, arms, forearms, hands and fingers. Just let everything feel supported, rested. Bring your attention back to your belly. And notice the difficulty and or ease at which the belly moves or doesn't as you inhale, expanding the lungs. And as you exhale, letting all the air go, feel how your belly softens inwards towards the body. So much tension here. Surprise yourself and turn that tension into ease through your awareness, through your breath, through your kindness towards yourself. These final few breaths, allowing your body to rest. Think in these final few moments of the intention you'd like to set for yourself for your week. For us live, it's Monday. It may not be a Monday when you are rewatching this, but maybe think about the next few days ahead. What do you need to embody to live fully for the next few days? You need a little strength, motivation, courage, love, support, kindness. Just think of what your word is right now that you need. My word is courage. So I'm setting an intention, using that word as my filter for my breath. Come back to your normal breathing, not exaggerated, not lengthened, just whatever it is that you classify as a normal breath. And as you do so, start to bring awareness into the toes and the fingers, your hands and your feet, arms and legs, and the rest of your body slowly starting to wake up. When you feel ready, if you prefer to stay where you are, please know that is absolutely fine with me. Stay where you are. Otherwise, extend the arm closest to your monitor overhead as much as you can. And carefully turn to your side, pausing before letting light in by fluttering your eyes open. And then when you're ready, press yourself up to a seat. Take your hands to your heart. Taking a moment of gratitude, thanking yourself for making the time to move and to breathe with our community. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week. We will see you again next week on your mat, Yoga for Balance and Bones. Thanks, team. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions about today's